Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Friday, January 10th, 2025, and tonight I'll be talking about Friday Night SmackDown. Alright, so tonight's SmackDown kicked off with Paul Heyman. He was cutting a promo, and he wanted Cody Rhodes to come out to the ring. Now, prior to this, he was talking about how Roman Reigns won the Ula Fala back, and now he wants his title back. So pretty much, he wanted to tell Cody Rhodes that it shouldn't be a surprise when Roman wants his title back. He says that Roman Reigns is going to enter the Royal Rumble and pretty much go after Cody Rhodes if he wins. Now, KO interrupts this, and he was saying that it was bad enough that Cody Rhodes was, shaking hands with The Rock on Raw, but now he's shaking hands with Paul Heyman. So, like Kevin Owens has been on a tirade against Cody Rhodes since he teamed up with Roman Reigns. And a brawl breaks out between KO and Cody, and the Bloodline comes out, and you would think that they would use this opening segment to set up a match, and they didn't. What ended up happening was that Tonga and Fatu were backstage arguing with security, and LA Knight, shoves Fatu outside, and he tells Nick Aldis he's going to go win the title. So, they did this whole thing just to let us know that Roman Reigns was going to enter the Royal Rumble and to not even set up a match between Cody and the Bloodline tonight on SmackDown. This was not a great opening segment. I felt like this was just your run-of-the-mill opening segment. Next we had the women's U.S. title matches, Chelsea Green versus Michin. This is a rematch from Saturday night's main event. I thought this was a decent match. I really like how Pepper Evans was just as a Secret Service agent. It's no surprise Chelsea Green won. She won with a handful of height, and then afterwards, she and Pepper Evans attacked Michin. Decent match, but I think we all pretty much saw that Chelsea Green was going to win this. So, Nick Aldis is talking to, the Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza. He makes two matches, one with Pretty Deadly and Los Garza, and Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under. So, the tag team division on SmackDown is kind of chaotic right now, with DIY being the tag team champions and everybody trying to make a claim for those tag titles. This leads into Los Garza versus Pretty Deadly. I have to say, it seems like Los Garza are the faces because they were shaking hands with the crowd and stuff like that. And during this match, Pretty Deadly called out to DIY to for them to come out. I guess to help them win this match. They didn't come out, and because of that, Los Garza ended up being victorious here. Now, if you guys remember, pretty much Pretty Deadly, I guess you could say, scratch DIY's back. How they helped them keep those tag titles, pretty much lied to Motor City Machine, to Nick Aldis, to, be in favor of DIY, and yet DIY is now returning that favor to them. So this match was okay. Didn't do much for me. I do like Pretty Deadly. I think they're hilarious. They remind me of Zoolander in a way. Never seen Zoolander. I highly suggest you check out Zoolander. But this match was okay. Then we get the men's U.S. title match. It's LA Knight, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This match, I feel like they used this match to set up the main event, because this match ends in a DQ after the Bloodline attack LA Knight. You guys know, earlier in the night, LA Knight, was the one that locked Fatu on the outside. So he gets hit with the hip attack and then a moonsault. And Cody and Jimmy come out and they attack the bloodline. Nick Aldis comes out, and this is when we get the main event. Jimmy Uso and Cody Rhodes versus the bloodline tonight. So, I didn't like the fact that like they pretty much used this match to make the main event. So it's like LA Knight, is definitely not getting the US title back anytime soon. We get A-Town Down Under versus Motor City Machine Guns, and this was a pretty decent match. But obviously the Motor City Machine Guns are not done with DIY. They are victorious here. And I do think that eventually we're going to get DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. The Motor City Machine Guns taking those tag titles back. So at the end of this match, DIY were watching the tag match. They weren't happy Motor City Machine Guns were victorious here. And Pretty Deadly confront them. You guys remember earlier in the night during Pretty Deadly's match, Pretty Deadly was calling out to DIY, but it didn't come out. So Pretty Deadly confront them and ask them, why they didn't help them during their match. Tommaso Ciampa made it very clear that he didn't want them scratching his back. Irrelevant matches, okay? And Gargano is trying to play off the fact that, that they appreciate them, but they have a lot of heat, and there's a lot of stuff that they has to work through in order for them to get the match. Apollo Crews interrupts and basically says the Pretty Deadly is dumb if they believe DIY and that they deserve everything coming their way. I honestly feel like they're kind of telling a story here with DIY and Pretty Deadly. I feel like the story that they're telling is that Pretty Deadly might eventually get tired of protecting or trying to help DIY when they're going to realize they're not going to get that tag match. Or even if they do, DIY is probably obviously going to win. But, the main feud is between Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. Pretty Deadly, I think, is in there somewhere. Because I do see that happening. I do see Pretty Deadly still trying to get on DIY's good side, only for them not to get a tag match and them getting mad about it. I like Pretty Deadly. Honestly, I think they're hilarious. Yes, boys. Like I said earlier, they remind me of Zoolander, Derek Zoolander, Ben Stiller's character of Zoolander. The only thing that's missing is for them to say, why male models? And to do Blue Steel. All right. So we get a Nia Jax segment. And Candice LeRae's pretty much telling her that she saw Tiffany make her way to the ring, and Nia Jax is going to go congratulate her. So if you guys know, last week Tiffany cashed in on Nia Jax and took the title from her. This leads into a Tiffany Stratton segment, and she's basically talking about how she played Nia Jax for a fool, and that she acted dumb just to get in Nia Jax's good graces. And she's interrupted by Nia Jax, who calls her an ungrateful shit. But and she said that Tiffany would be nothing without her. She made her. Bayley also comes out. Bianca and Naomi come out. A brawl breaks out, and pretty much Nick Aldis makes this a fatal 4-way to determine who's gonna face Tiffany. So we can lead this leads into a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match. It's Nia Jax versus Naomi versus Bayley versus Bianca. Now, I had an issue with this because Naomi and Bianca, they're the women's tag team champions. Why were they both in this match? Maybe one of them should have been in this match. They did nothing for Stratton for her celebration, but we all know how celebrations go. That's true. Celebrations in wrestling always end in disaster. I'm sure Tiffany will get a celebration probably after she defeats the winner of the number 1 contenders match, which I'll get to right now. I could totally see her doing a all pink celebration, kind of like Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, and that very pink color. So I could see that happening. So anywho, like I say, this match wasn't bad. I actually really did thought that this Fatal 4 was an okay match, but I was just why is Naomi and Bianca in here and they're the tag team champions? One of them should be in here, not both of them. Yeah, why was Bianca and Naomi in this one? One of them should have been in. This made no sense. Exactly. If they weren't the tag team champions, I wouldn't have a problem with either of them being in the match. I wouldn't have a problem with both of them being in the match. It's the fact that they're the tag team champions that kind of left me scratching my head like, why are they both in this match? But Bayley is victorious. And despite the fact that like Candice LeRae comes out, like she really doesn't help Nia Jax during this. So kind of look dumb out there because she didn't stop Bayley from hitting Naomi with the Rose Plant to pick up the victory here. She was just kind of just there, so that didn't make sense to me. But Bayley was victorious, and she's gonna face Tiffany Stratton for that title. We did a quick Jimmy Uso segment, and basically Mello approaches him and tells him that if he tries that again, he was gonna end up like Strowman. Bayley winning was the right decision, but of course she's gonna lose. Oh yeah, she's more definitely gonna lose. So Bayley gets interviewed, and she's basically saying, well, we find out her match is gonna take place next week. She talks about her careers. She's been wanting to take advantage of chances and opportunities. But she makes the point that Tiffany Stratton has never beaten her, which she's probably going to beat her next week. Stratton's next feud is with Charlotte Flair when she returns. I could definitely see that happening. Her facing off against Charlotte Flair. But anywho, yeah, I think Tiffany's more than likely going to beat Bayley. I don't think she's losing to Bayley at all here. We get the main event. Oh, so before the main event, Jacob Fatu cuts a quick little promo as him and Tonga walk into the ring. He makes a reference to a Nightmare on Elm Street by saying that Cody Rhodes needs to wake up from his nightmare. So and he makes a reference to Elm Street, which is the place where, Freddy lives. So this leads into Tonga and Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. So match was okay. But KO comes out and he pretty much takes Cody Rhodes away from this match and leaves poor Jimmy Uso by himself. So this allows Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu to pick up the win after Jacob Fatu hits Jimmy Uso with a DDT and a moonsault. Typical main event with the Bloodline winning. This is a rinse and repeat from last week. So Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens end up brawling and they go through a table in the crowd, like where the equipment is. And that's pretty much how SmackDown goes off the air here. Solo Sikoa is supposed to come back next week, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Solo Sikoa, especially as he once said losing has consequences. So I wonder if he's going to get kicked out of the Bloodline here. But overall, on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, I did not enjoy this SmackDown. This was 2. I just feel like SmackDown does not need to be 3 hours. 2 hours is okay. Because I feel like the show drags sometimes, and then like some of these matches go on long, which is not a bad thing at times, but at the same time, some matches don't need to be that long, So I didn't mind the 4-way number 1 contenders match being a little long. What I mind was a Naomi and Bianca both being in there. And I didn't like the fact that they used the US title match to set up the main event instead of, because now that match was pretty much wasted. So, but this was not a good SmackDown at all. Like in the 3 hours, I think it's hurting it because when SmackDown was 2 hours, it wasn't that um it wasn't that tough to sit through. But yeah, I think SmackDown definitely needs to go back to 2 hours. Alright, with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you could see your support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys Monday after Raw. Bye!